So the good folks over at Scott Oiler just sent me a neat little thing. First off, Scott Oiler. It's an automatic chain lubrication system. This little container here, you fill up with whatever fluid you want to lubricate your chain. Scott Oiler sends you a primer bottle. And you got your vacuum line here that attaches to the vacuum of the bike. They do have electronic ones too. And then this is a little nozzle, and the lubricant comes out here and it runs down this hose here and into this little tip, which just sort of drips on your chain. It's actually a pretty neat little thing. I've personally never seen one before they contacted me. Not terribly popular here in the US, but I've heard that actually they're used a lot over in the UK and other parts of the world. So now we're going to install this on my bike. It's super easy to install. Scott Oiler has bitchin' instructions. Even an idiot could follow this, which is good news for me. So yeah, I'm going to put it on the XT550. I've already taken the seat and the tank off for access. You guys may or may not need to do this on your bike. I just did it so I can see what I'm doing. And so we're just going to follow the instructions, put it on, and then see how well it works. So this was my first step. The kit came with a bunch of these little brackets here so that you can mount them, here, you can mount one right here, you can mount it, basically wherever you want. I chose this little one, and I, clipped the hose in, and you have this little, this little tip here. And it's supposed to just sort of lightly brush on the sprocket here, so somewhere where it's not going to get crimped or anything. And the bevel faces out, the cut end faces out, and so it just sort of drips here, and then the centrifugal force, disperses it amongst your chain. So I had this mounted, and then the hose comes up, and it is going to attach to wherever I decide I'm going to put the little oil canister. So that's going to be the next step. So I think I'm going to mount mine right here. That way it's right next to my petcock, where the petcock on my tank is. And that's something that I switch every time I ride the bike. I switch the petcock on and off. So it'll help me remember to keep an eye on this thing and keep it filled. To attach it, it's just super easy. They give you these zip ties, and the zip ties go through these holes, and they go around this part of your frame or wherever. This is your fill hole, so you want to have that accessible, and this is your dial, which adjusts the flow rate, so you don't want to impede that in any way. So I'm just gonna take 2 or 3 zip ties, run them through here, and attach it right here, and then the hose goes up into there and gets clipped off. I'm also going to run this hose somewhere where it's not going to get caught on anything, and it's not going to get caught in the chain, especially because this is sort of an on-off road bike. I want to sort of hide it so it doesn't get caught on any brush or anything like that. So now I'm going to assemble all of that. So now this is all zip tied in there and assembled. And now I'm going to route the vacuum line. So again, the Scott Oiler kit comes with a lot of stuff that you can use for many different bikes. You can route your vacuum line in line with another vacuum line. Mine actually happens to have an unused port, and so that's what I'm going to do. But you've got all kinds of little things here. Oh, that's just cool. They send you off with a couple of spare tips for the applicator tips. That's pretty nice of them. Alright, yeah, so I've chose to use this little 90-degree elbow, and I'm going to use it for an unused vacuum line on my intake manifolds. So this is how that hooks in. There's a little brass nipple coming out of my intake boot here, and that just pushes right all up in there. I'm going to really squeeze it in there so it doesn't come out, and then I'm going to route this back through all this mess here so that it pokes right into right there. Alright, so we're getting on towards the end here. This is the breather. It covers up the filler hole. So there's your filler hole. And then this is just sort of like a breather system so that you know, you don't get any junk in there, and it allows it to breathe out. And so this goes up, loops up like this, and then comes down. More zip tie action to secure that. So now it's all pretty much assembled. We're going to fill it up. I got my fluid, and the hose just goes right in there. I fill it on up. Here's the adjustable dial here, and we twist it all the way clockwise to prime the system. So to prime it, what we do is we actually turn the dial all the way clockwise, and then we're going to use the rubber attacher thing here to connect to the hose of the fluid, and we're just going to force fluid all the way down. You can see I'm forcing it. It's just going to come all the way down there until it drips out, and there's no more bubbles left. So there you go. You see it just sort of dripping down like that. That's what it wants to look like. Alright, so now let's crank it up and see how well this thing works. So it seems to work pretty good. I think they're neat as hell. Maybe the future of chained motorcycle maintenance, who knows. My opinion of them is I think they're cool, but not, you know, an end-all be-all to every single chained motorcycle. There are some guys in the United States here who would never ever use this product, you know. Oh, I've been lubricating my chain by hand all my life, why would I change now? Why indeed, you know, in the name of progress, blah blah blah, don't get me started on that. But you know, they feel like, oh, this is going to encourage me to forget about lubricating my chain, and therefore the reservoir is going to run dry, my chain's going to go dry, and you know, that's going to be detrimental. Really, this this little hopper here holds about as much oil as you might use in like 1,000 miles, I've been told. So it's not, you know, just fill it up and forget about it. You do have to, you know, keep an eye on it. But it's, you know, it's a transparent, you know, little canister there that's right out in the open, you know. That's why I put mine right here, so that I could take a look at it and, you know, and watch it. So I don't think it's too hard to remember to fill it up. One advantage of this is that it keeps the chain constantly lubricated, as opposed to, say, you know, you lubricate your chain every 500 miles or whatever. You know, your chain goes through periods of being lubricated and not lubricated. So if you, you know, ride through the rain, or if you know, ride hard or whatever, your chain will be constantly lubricated to the same amount. So that's definitely an advantage. Also, if you live in like a really rainy climate, maybe this is why they're so popular in the UK. Well, they're a company that's, you know, based over there, but it's a really wet climate, you know, and so if you're constantly lubricating your chain, you're not washing off that lubrication that you would if you were hand lubricating it. So, you know, for guys who live in Seattle or, you know, other really rainy areas of this country, it might be something that you should consider. It's pretty cool. It's not gonna create a great big mess if you have it dialed properly. If you have it where the flow rate is too fast, then you might get like some flinging oil all up in here. But if you have it dialed in properly, you know, you really want to drop like every 30 to 60 seconds. And that's where I have mine set right now. So I'm for them. I think they're pretty cool. Scott Oiler, you can find them, you know, on their website. This one costs like 130 bucks, I think, and the electronic one's a little bit more expensive. But you know, if this is something that interests you guys, you know, go and check them out. Really great guys, awesome customer service. So yeah, so I give them the old thumbs up.